Let's get into this Barbie cream base. Okay, this face really ate down. Starting off with primer, y'all. I'm gonna go in and prime and move on to foundation. I'm using the NARS Longwear Radiant Foundation in the shade New Caledonia, and I try not to do a lot of cuts with this makeup video, just so y'all can see that, like, when I say, especially if you're a beginner, you do not want to feel rushed. You don't want to rush. If you're just learning how to do your makeup, you should try getting ready maybe like 2 hours before, just so you can get into the habit of taking your time when it comes to blending out your cream products, to make sure that everything is going to give you that flawless finish. And the key to that is to just make sure that your creams and liquids are where they need to be. I'm using a brush made by Makeup by Mario, and it's like a fluffy angled brush on both sides. And yeah, as y'all can see, I'm just kind of turning the brush and using it as my tool. In the middle of doing it, y'all, I kind of messed up my brows, so I went back in and filled it in a little bit, because we don't want no skimp brows around here. Okay, moving on to concealer. This is the e.l.f. concealer. This is a hydrating concealer, not the camo. There are two different ones. Make sure it says hydrating. This is going to give you, it's going to play a part in that dewy finish, but that was in the shade of Deep Chestnut, y'all. While my concealer is sitting, I'm going to move on to my Makeup by Mitchell Curve case, and I am just trying to basically figure out what shade I wanted to cream contour with, because as I mentioned in a previous video, that the shade that I had been using, I noticed that on photos it comes out or show up a little bit too dark for my liking, so I wanted to go a shade lighter, and that is what I did, and also use that shade to contour my nose. Also going in with a smaller fluffy angled brush, just to not, you know, give me such a harsh finish. You want to make sure you're going in with all fluffy brushes when you're wanting an airbrush finish. So moving on to blending out my concealer. Y'all know, if you're a day one, I like to start in my forehead area first to avoid picking up product from other areas of my face, and then taking it to my forehead and trying to cream contour, and it just looks terrible. I feel like the key to a good seamless makeup look is knowing where to start, when to blend, how much to blend, how far to take it. So that is why I do my forehead area first, and I like to make sure that when I'm blending my under eye concealer, that I make that concealer blend with the concealer that is coming from my eyes as well. So I kind of always turn my face and make sure I'm getting in those areas where I see the products meet, to make sure that it just kind of like so seamlessly just blend into each other, if that makes sense. And that is what I'm doing here. Moving on, this step is optional. I'm just going to add a brighter shade of concealer, and this is in Tan Sand. I just like a bright under eye. While that concealer sits, I'm going to go in with a darker shade of blush in this palette. And when it comes to your cream blush, you just want to always build it up. It's safer to build up the shade than to go in with too much. So I just kind of went in and added the product. I wasn't sure exactly how much blush I wanted, but I knew that that wasn't enough, so I said let's add a little bit more. And that's what I did. I added a little bit more, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm looking for. Like, this was the goal. And with what was left on the brush, I just kind of went in, and this is something I've never done before, but I just went in and kind of played around with adding more blush to the face to give me that really flush look, you know, just really pretty, girly Barbie, you know, candy, cotton candy, just pretty. I went in and just, with the rest of the blush, just put it in other areas of my face. Moving on to setting powder. Y'all know I like to prepare my setting powder before blending out my second shade of concealer. And y'all, I just love the packaging. This is the one size. And I like how after you remove the top, it actually still has like another lid that allows you to kind of just get the amount of product that you need out without it just being a complete mess. And I like to pour mine in the top, and I like to blend out my under eye and then go in and set. And y'all, this setting powder just never fails me. It literally just melted into my skin, y'all, real time. This video has no filter on it. I went in and just set the rest of the areas of my face, and then I'm gonna go down the bridge of my nose where that concealer was in my chin area. And y'all, I was already feeling myself. Like, I'm just like, okay, the face is giving. Por favor. But y'all, please don't forget to do this. Do not leave your lid empty. Go in and set your lid. I actually did not even have to dip this back into the product, y'all. I just used what was left. Moving on to bronzer, y'all. This used to be my favorite step of my makeup routine, but then I got into blush and it just kind of came and took over. But y'all, we are going in with the Fenty Beauty bronzer, and I'm going to finish that off with using a powder foundation just to set that cream contour on my nose, because you don't want to go in with a bronzer to contour your nose. It won't look as natural. So that's why I went in with the lighter, more neutral powder shade of foundation, and I'm using a fluffy eyeshadow brush. Not flat, but fluffy. And y'all, I was not sure which palette blush I wanted to go with, but I ended up going with this pink shade because it had like a hint of shimmer, and I don't use this shade often, y'all. I was gagged, okay? It was giving exactly what I needed it to give. When I said I was going for Barbie, it gave me Barbie. And with the lighter shade of pink, y'all, I'm just gonna kind of like go into the bridge of my nose and the tip of my nose just to give me a little bit more highlight. And I'm gonna set my face with the Charlotte Tilbury in one size. And while that kind of dries down, I like to go in with my spoolie and brush through my brows just to give myself more of a hair-like finish, because that is how I like for my brows to look. And I don't know why I feel like after I spray my face and do this, they kind of just stay like this all day. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's been working. Moving on to lip shot, I'm using just a brown lip pencil. This came in the GLAMLITE lip kit, one of them. I have Donut Glaze and Cinnamon Swirl. I believe this is the one that came in Cinnamon Swirl, but I'm gonna use this to line my lips. And yes, if you must know, I am overlining. And for the shades of lip gloss, y'all, I'm gonna put them down in the description. This is the e.l.f. shade that I'm going into with first. This was more of a thicker gloss with more coverage, and then I went in with the NYX just to brighten it up and blend those two together, y'all. This is the finished look. I absolutely loved it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more beauty content. Bye.